All right. Without any further ado, let's get started. We are so very happy to have you all today. My name is Zach Woods. I help run the guest experience program here at Bask. It has been such an honor to go from having heard this concept as an idea and met Eileen Osgener, the founder, a little more than a year ago, to seeing this place flourish, to have real live customers, real retreat leaders, real guests, real visitors, um, in all seasons of Bask. It's been really amazing to see and to witness. So thank you all for being here. For those that are thinking about running a group retreat, for those that are excited about organizing people in general, I do believe that this content today will be super useful for you all. We do have some esteemed guests, Amanda and Carly from Native Pilates. Hi, Amanda and Carly.
Hi.
Tech check. Tech. I'm kidding. We already did. We did the tech check. Everything is fine. Just to quickly run you all through our agenda for today. You're going to hear a little bit from me, of course, but most importantly, we're going to start with a little background and context of where is Bask, what is Bask, and why, most importantly, is Bask. And that's going to be delivered by Eileen Osgener, the visionary and founder of Bask. I'll come back and be doing a real live example of packaging a retreat. How do I do it? How many seats, how many spaces, how do I even price it? If we have time, I was thinking I could even go through a pricing exercise, but that'll be sort of time dependent. Chelsea Connerly will be doing lodging and accommodations overviews, talking about the Buffalo Lodge, the geodomes, the cabins. We'll hear both from Owen Rich via video, as well as Eileen, again, as regards the land restoration and land stewardship initiatives at Bask. We'll come back for audience Q&A. And then for those that stick around to the very end, which you should, because you'll get something that people on the recording will not get, we're going to make a special offer for those that make it to the end for, spending your time. We know that you all could be anywhere in the world, and we really super appreciate you all being here. So without further ado, I'm going to intro over to Eileen Osgener, the visionary and founder of Bask, and I am going to stop sharing there. Eileen, come on over.
All right, welcome. I get asked the question a lot, why Bask? What inspired me? And I feel like I give different interpretations each time, but it all sort of starts at the root of my history that leads to the origin of Bask. When I was 7 years old and I was on a beach in South America, and a boy came up to me, and it was a boy that was starving and his ribs were sticking out. And I just remember being in shock as he asked me for my sandwich that I had. And I remember feeling shame and embarrassed that I had eaten most of the sandwich before I saw him come up. And it did something. It opened up this humanitarian call of, I need to do something special in this world. I really feel like I so want to help people. And this just compassion opened up in me. And I felt this rooted calling. Didn't know how and where it would take hold. And the truth is, I didn't have an easy childhood. Maybe it would appear that I did. But I was severely bullied growing up. And in family, I was severely bullied, and in school, carpool, I was a very shy girl and just had really trouble fitting in. And unfortunately, it made me very insecure, no matter what I did. And my relationships were tough. And I ended up marrying a very abusive man, very abusive. And I lived in 12 years of fear, abuse in every way possible. And the truth is, I really, at the time, didn't know how and if I would survive. It really is, I'm in awe to think now that I actually survived what I endured. But I did, and 12 years was a very long time. But I feel now and know now that I had to suffer the way I did in order to hit rock bottom almost every day to have me transform into who I am today and to be able to create a transformative place like Bask for the world. And through that suffering, my body was dying. I had severe migraines, intestinal issues, all these physical ailments, and the pain was excruciating. And so I had to give up everything and start working on the healing process personally. I worked on it by going to retreats and joining women's groups and practicing different modalities. And I spent several years working on healing techniques to heal my body and my soul and every part of me. And I now have no physical ailments at all. I haven't had migraines in 5 years. I bought this land of Bass sight unseen when I was in Florida at a wellness retreat. I really trust my intuition and my gut, and I answered the call to buy this land, knowing it would be the right one. And when I came to explore the land, it started speaking to me. And I started learning about where land is and how it's been abused over the years. And what are we to do? So I asked naturalists and environmentalists to come in and to start talking about what we could do to restore the land, to understand the different parts of it. And so really Bask is a vision and an example of what can be created when we've embraced emotional healing within ourselves. And so my heart went out thinking, oh my gosh, we need pollinators, we need wildlife, we need the plants. I started to learn about how vital these plants are to our well-being and how we connect with each other and have a synergy with each other. And when we reciprocate, reciprocation is so important. When we give, we get back. It's like we give and we take, right? And the balance of that is so important. And so I started thinking, okay, I'm going to hire experts and see what we can do for this land to bring her entirely back to life. Bask embodies the love I feel in my heart for this world. She really does. And I'll get emotional. I tend to, but when I'm out there and I can hear and listen to the plants and the land, and she's thriving and she's growing and she's showing up. We have so many more birds and animals showing up this year than last year. It is off the charts, astronomical. And I know I could go in that direction for a long time, but Bask embodying the love that I feel for all living beings is important because we're all connected, you see, and we have to lift each other up and we have to embrace self-love and teach people the importance of self-love so that we can use our self-love and show love for others and other beings. And I want to talk about how restored land is the medicine that we need. When we restore land, we elevate the frequency, and then we're all healed and elevated, right? So this will spread too, because it feels so beautifully restorative for our bodies and our souls, you know. Then you have the power of Mother Earth and you have the power of the universe behind you, and you're being integral to what's good for all beings. Everything at Bask has been done with the highest of integrity in every acre of this land. And the spaces, the retreat center, the cabins, the domes, I worked with Emily Heron, a wonderful interior designer, and we were very intentional about every single room, every space. I'm into color therapy. These colors are beautiful. They're enriching. They're of the earth colors, and they make you feel held and warm. And therefore, you feel very safe at Bask. And that was knowing my background now, knowing that was number one of important to me is for me and everyone to feel safe at Bask. And the land also is like hugging you, and it feels really good to be there. And so you feel comforted. And we know when you feel safe and people feel safe that they can open up to anything, to healing, to creativity. We're seeing much creativity coming to life. We have ex-military, PTSD. Obviously, I had a lot of CPTXV, complex version of PTSD, and had all those years of healing. And I witness people's healing on this land all the time. I also want to talk about what we're doing. We are a 501c3, so any money poured into Bask is going back to Bask. It's going back to land projects. It's going back to mental health, emotional health programs that we're working on right now. And also we're going to have a monarch destination field. I know I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I get excited about it. Sustainability is a big part of Bask. So most of the furniture we got is vintage furniture. And even things like we're using as little plastic as possible, and we're coming up with alternative sustainable products to use at Bask, and we'll have composting and so many exciting things. But I can promise you that the integrity and the intentionality is 100% at Bask, and that is why it's been taking 4 to 5 years to get to the point where we are today. But you will feel and be held while you're there. And it's really a passion from the heart and soul that Bask is created. And that's also why this is a nonprofit, and all of it's going back into Bask. So thank you for listening to me, and I'm going to hand it over to Chelsea.
We are going to start here with our site map. Just a quick overview of our site. As you can see, we have a main Buffalo Lodge right in the middle of cabins, domes, chrysalis. What you don't see on here is we do have a pavilion that we've added, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But you can kind of see we've got an array of different lands. We have wetlands, we have a prairie, we have all kinds of stuff in here. I should be looking at the camera. Again, I've never used a computer before. All right, Buffalo Lodge. So this is probably my favorite space on the whole property. Just looking at the image here, it is so beautiful. It's so inviting and warm. Like Island said, the interior is all colorful. It's meant to be safe and feel safe. So that is literally what you feel when you walk in. As you can see on your screen, we have 3 queen rooms, 3 twin rooms, and 1 triplet room. So there's lots of different options for your rooming here. We have a sauna and a cold plunge. It's probably my favorite. Right out back, along with the fire lounge. So you can have a little screened in porch time with your coffee. You can go jump in the sauna. It's very, very warm and inviting. We do have a fully stocked kitchen and a catering kitchen. So if you're bringing on your chef, they have everything they need to create really warm and inviting meals, nourishing meals. We also have a library, which is cozy couch. You can sit and read a book, cover up with your blanket. As you can see on your screen right here, we do have there's some of the twin rooms, the single rooms. We have the kitchen, bunk rooms, all kinds of beautiful options for you. And we move into the geodomes. Now we have 3 geodomes, and these are queen beds in each dome with a shared bathhouse that has 2 showers, 2 toilets, 2 sinks. And these have a beautiful open view of the land, the meadows. They're very cozy. They each have their own porch with seating too. So you can wake up in the morning, go to your private porch, sip coffee. It's wonderful and cozy. And you can see some more images here. Just the interior, your queen bed. They also have a mini fridge. Super warm and inviting. And then we go to our cabins. So we have 2 cabins kind of nestled privately in the woods. We have our rooted cabin and our honey cabin. The one you see on your screen right here is the honey cabin. You can see the honeycomb stairs. And these have each a queen bed downstairs along with a loft area that has 3 single beds. They each have a full kitchen. laundry, private fire pit. You have access to all the trails in the back. So it's kind of your private getaway, a little off away from the rest of the property. And here's some more images of that as well. You can see, does this little thing work? Oh, we don't, that's okay. We have like the fold out stairs that go up to the loft. Very, very fun little cabins, tiny homes. And Chrysalis, this is probably also one of my favorite places. I think I said Buffalo was, but Chrysalis might be too. I'm a movement person. I like to move my body. And this is such a unique expression space. You can do yoga in here, which I've done many times. You can open the garage doors, air flows through. You have views of the land through all the glass windows. You can do Pilates, you could do dance, sound healing, tea ceremonies, literally whatever you can think of, this space can hold that for you. Typically up to about 30 guests inside. We've even had an art gallery in there. So the options are endless. We do have a PA system in there as well. We can hook up your Bluetooth. You can play your music. We do have yoga mats, bolsters, blankets, blocks, all of that already on site for you. So you don't have to stress about bringing your own or having your guests bring their accessories. And you can see a few images here of different ways we use the space. So we've got, sound healing, people doing dance and movement inside and meditation. And yeah, the options are endless. And then I'm going to now pass it back to Zach, who's going to move to retreats, and enjoy.
Slideroo, he's back in. Awesome. I think that was a justifiable and smart audible because, again, it helps set the context of what you're going to see in the live retreat package composition that we're going to do together. So give me 1 second. I'm going to navigate to the section that I want to go to, and then you should see your screen pop back up in 1 moment. Okay, let me know. You see a big, beautiful living room. Fantastic, as well as my face overlaid on it. All right, good deal. So we are going to talk on a number of different levels about retreats at Bask. I can say that when I first started working here, this process that you see, hopefully beautifully laid out and sort of logically organized, wasn't clear. It wasn't obvious how we would manage taking, the beautiful idea and vision that you heard from Eileen and turning it into a process that we listen to customers. We listen to some very experienced retreat leaders. We listen to some first-time retreat leaders like Amanda and Carly, who you'll hear from here shortly, and condense it into a step-by-step process that ultimately helps someone that's never done this before, or maybe someone that's done this dozens of times before, know exactly how Bask works in order to bring your vision to life and to support you the best that we can. So this step-by-step process, I'm going to read not one by one. I'll read the item and I'll tell you what's the objective of us having that. So the first thing, and many of you that I have seen on the attendee list, I'm trying my best not to look at the attendee list at the same time that I'm giving this presentation, but you're familiar with the retreat request form that we send out. It's an electronic form. You can find it on our website. You can obviously email someone from our team to get access to it. The reason that we asked that, I know you all thought we were in cahoots to create more gigabytes for Google. No, we actually just believe that it helps you all as potential retreat leaders think about what is it that I want to do, the concept, how many people would I ideally like to serve with my concept, and when would I like to serve those people? Is this a retreat for 4 months from now? Is this a retreat for 9 months from now? Maybe, and I have seen a couple of requests that someone wrote, this is for 18 months from now. And I'm like, Mal, you have big vision, but we're happy to partner with that too. The step after the retreat request, someone from our team receives that request. We are set up to have information about you and about your concept before our clarity conversation. In the clarity conversation, we allot, typically 30 minutes. Those conversations can be 10 minutes. Those conversations can be an hour, but by no means is that the only opportunity to speak with our team about the why. Why do you want to do what you want to do? Is it a personal vision or a personal mission like you heard Eileen share? Is it you're a really awesome yoga teacher and you're looking to expand your network and grow a client base in a new city that you're moving to? We have talked to people trying to do all of it or doing all of it. Who do you serve? Who is the client base that already works with you, that's already buying your classes, that's already buying your books, your audio tapes, subscribing to your webinar, your newsletter? This is really important. If we speak to a first-time retreat leader and they aren't clear about their concept and they're not clear about their why and they don't know their who, we will very kindly remind them that those are really important questions, because the last thing that we want to do, and again, we'll talk about this in the math example here in a moment, we don't want to set any retreat leader up for failure to have an event that doesn't have a background, that doesn't have a reason why, and that doesn't have a core market that you believe you can target. That's really important. So it's more for you all as retreat leaders than it is for us as a venue. 3, a tailored quote. You've given us some information about when your concept would be, how many folks, and kind of what you want to achieve with your concept. We've had a conversation about why you want to have this event, who it serves, and how you'll sort of, go about doing it on a day in and day out basis. We're then in a position to provide you with a tailored quote based on what we've learned. We get this question sometimes, tell me the price, tell me the price, tell me the price. I have a kind of a big asterisk. The reason we don't tell you the price is because Bask does not operate on a full venue buyout context. What does that mean? What that means is that we do not require retreat leaders to book every single room of every single accommodation in order to do a retreat with us. Now, yes, do we have room count minimums and sleeping account minimums? Yes, we do. But the reason we can't just give you a price is we don't want to give you a price that's way too high based on a program that would actually best serve 12 to 14 people rather than 21 to 25 people, which the venue can also accommodate. We'll go through that here in a moment in a little bit of detail. Contracting and deposit. We look for 20% down on your contracted total in order to reserve your dates and begin the process of thinking about how we might produce some content for you all, putting your event on our website, ensuring that you have the details that you need. I can say typically folks are looking for events 3 to 4 months out at a minimum. That is not a hard and fast requirement, but I will say if you're thinking about doing an event in a month, you either need to have a really strong following where you believe you can get conversion on that, or maybe you think about doing it a little later, because if you don't have the strong following, it's going to be pretty tough to make it happen. On the marketing plan front, this is something that I feel very confident in saying we really do partner with and ally with the retreat leaders that work with us, not just from an operational perspective to ensure that they have all of their meals taken care of and their dietary considerations considered. We truly partner with them on how could you price this event? How could, what type of tickets could you go to the market with? What type of timeline would you ideally be promoting this? Is it 6 months out? Is it 2 months out? Is it 3.5 months out? Is it video? Is it Instagram? Is it newsletter? Is it webinar? We really provide, I believe, a highly consultative sales process that doesn't just help you feel confident about Bask as a venue, but helps your customers feel confident about your retreat as a thing that they'd like to go for. And then lastly, and you're going to hear this live from Carly and Amanda, you get to an event that's transformational. You create vitality for your guests. You create levity for your guests. Maybe you create a little surrender. Maybe people come with something they really need to let go of, and that's the opportunity. But, I know it seems simple to see a 7-step process and say, wow, it is that simple. Yes, after a year of work and listening to, literally 100+ retreat leaders, It is that simple. We believe that this process lays out what someone who's done this a dozen times or someone who's never done this, these are the steps that you can take to ask the questions of yourself and of us as a venue to get to the finish line on your event. All right. So Chelsea kind of alluded to this as well. In terms of support, I believe our team offers unparalleled connection with the retreat leader, not just when you're on site there, you're going to have a 4-night event. We're offering support 9 months out, 6 months out, 4 months out, 2 months out, 1 month out. You'll talk to Chelsea so much, you'll think she's your best friend by the end of this whole thing if you've made the decision to work with us. We also, and you'll see this in the example that I'm going to walk through in a second, we do offer programming add-ons. I would say that it's 1/5 of retreat leaders that we speak to that are looking for, they have a really strong concept. They believe very, very strongly in what it is that they're looking to bring to the market, but they just don't know what they do on day 2's afternoon. Don't worry, we have you. We have a really awesome sort of brochure of add-ons and programming additions, and we'll talk through a couple of those in a moment. Nutrition, I'm sure Carly and Amanda will talk about this, but this is one of the things that we talk to retreat leaders that are so on the fence about, should I bring my own chef? Should I organize food myself? You absolutely can do that at Bask. We do not require that you work with our nutrition team or one of the culinary folks that we connect with your retreat. However, you should know and understand coordinating the food is a massive undertaking that requires a lot of additional headspace and a lot of additional logistics that will, obviously conflict with your trying to put together a top tier retreat for 3, 4, or 5 nights. So bear that in mind. And then lastly, there are a number of inclusions in the property aside from the accommodations that ultimately, we believe make this a really standout venue, including guided nature walks, which are included with any retreat that books with us. We offer planning courses. We offer opportunities to dip in the creek, hiking trail, sauna, cold plunge, which Chelsea elaborated on. So I'm going to hop in to an actual quoting example. Let me know if you can see my screen. I believe you can. Fantastic. So we're going to go line item by line item. Now that you've seen the accommodations, which are included in this quote, that's going to be reassuring for you. So I'm first going to set the tone by saying this is a 3-night retreat from someone focused on wellness and grounding as the 2 kind of primary underlying themes of their retreat. It's a first-time retreat leader. Not that what we're offering here has any bearing on first time versus 5th time, no price point variation or really no support variation. It just helps set the context. They are looking for a mix of sleeping accommodations. In general, people are looking for a mix of sleeping accommodations because they want to have variability in their ticket tiers. They know, certain customers are going to want private accommodations. That may be a slightly higher priced item. They know some people may want to share to sort of lower their ticket cost. And you'll see why I mention this. They are based in Texas and they believe they have a strong market draw for people that will come from Texas to Nashville for this event. Okay. Now that we've kind of set the parameters there, I'll get rid of said parameters, save and close, and we'll go line item by line item to walk you through what a quote looks like from Bask. So on the accommodations front, I have one of the cabins, one of the tiny cabins that we have listed here. Thank you, Nigel. He's killing it as head of photography and PA. So we have one cabin listed in this quote. That cabin can suit up to 4 guests. I have 3 guests listed here. I'll get to why that is. We have the number of nights that you as a retreat leader would be renting said accommodation. And then you have the unit cost, which means how much does a cabin cost. And then, of course, unit cost times number of nights equals total cost. If, for example, I varied this number to 4, so instead of 3 guests, it was 4 guests, you'll notice that that has no bearing on your unit cost. If I change this from 4 guests to 1 guest, you'll notice that that has no bearing on your unit cost or your total cost. Where the number of guests in the cabins or in the retreat center have an impact is on your meal plan. And of course, if we have a per person retreat add-on, like a tea ceremony, which we'll talk about in a second, that's where you'll start to see some variation here. In the retreat center, so right now in this quote, I have 6 rooms accounted for with 9 guests. This very conveniently is all 3 of the queen bedrooms downstairs, which Chelsea showcased to you, and 3 of the shared rooms upstairs. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. That's where you get the 6 guests. So this would be 6 rentable rooms in the Buffalo Lodge. And then we come to our Geodome. We have 1 Geodome, 1 guest for 3 nights. We have seen, just as a note, we have seen folks rent this Geodome as a shared accommodation. Again, that has no bearing on your price with us. So if I made this 2 guest in a Geodome, you still pay the same thing. For those more experienced retreat leaders, you're probably thinking, what you should be thinking is, how do I best structure this to make it so that the accommodations I'm offering to an audience are attractive, and so that I make as much money as I can within reason from these guests that are going to have a really awesome experience with you. So you absolutely should be considering that. So that lays out unit price on a cabin, unit price on a retreat center room, and unit price on the Geodome. We'll now go just a little lower and we'll look at our meal costs. So of course, you bring your guests from Texas into Nashville, they can eat really good chilaquiles in Austin, but we have some pretty fine Mexican food as well, if that's something that your team would like or your guests would like. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have 3 breakfasts accounted for in this 3-night retreat. So say you arrive on a Thursday, you don't eat breakfast that day, you eat Friday, you eat Saturday, you eat Sunday breakfast. We have 13 guests. If we sum 3 plus 9 plus 1, you'll know that that's 13. And your per person breakfast price is listed at $25. For lunch, you're going to have 2 lunches because people aren't eating lunch on the day they arrive, and they're typically not eating lunch on the day that they leave. So you have a lunch on second day and a lunch on third day that they're there. That's priced at $40 per person. And then for dinner, you have dinner each of the 3 nights that you're there. So you have dinner Thursday, dinner Friday, dinner Saturday, and that's priced at $60 per person. We're now going to scroll down into the programming section. So I mentioned a little earlier that we do offer programming add-ons. Some of them, of course, are free of charge, like the guided nature exploration. That's typically led by Owen Rich, unless he's off doing a bonsai conference somewhere in South America or doing whatever he does as like the plant genius that he is. Tea ceremony. I absolutely love the part-time herbalist that we have working with Bask. Her name is Zonthi Diamond. I don't know what it is, and maybe Eileen can elaborate, but something in the water in Nashville is really wild about herbalism. People are really into it. So Zonthi's incredible, but we have phenomenal access to a huge group of herbalists that both are building products for Bask, but are educating dozens, if not hundreds of people online, in person, et cetera, et cetera. It's really exciting. I'm going to elaborate on this tea ceremony for only a second, just so that you can see real time. Let's imagine we're having this conversation. I'm now live with this lady from Texas, and she says, I really thought about the tea ceremony. I don't think I'm going to do it. No issue. We put a 0 on the count. In reality, we would remove this from the quote altogether, but for the sake of saving your time on Excel homework, we remove it. You can see the price point per person is still listed, but there's no contribution of that price to your total cost. So, we do not oblige that any of the programming that we're offering, including the free programming, if you say, hey, a guided nature exploration, does it make sense for my event? Thank you, but no thank you. No issue whatsoever. We, of course, believe it can be really impactful and meaningful from your group to give them a general orientation to the land. But if that's not something that's interesting, no worries. And then the third example, I'm just putting something in that, a little bit different, a little bit unique, but something that people absolutely loved during our Aero journey that we had in the fall or early or late autumn last year. We have a practice called the Spirit of Archery that we take, folks via a caravan for about 10 minutes to this really cool archery range, and guide them on some of the spiritual practices and considerations of shooting archery and kind of going after certain targets and maybe removing some thought barriers to getting there. Again, let's say archery sounds cool, but no thanks. No problem. We take it off your quote. We're trying to give a real life example here. And then the last thing that we're going to walk through is our facilities and marketing services. So we, have this commitment, at least to date, we've always done this. If a retreat leader is coming for a 3-night retreat, we do not charge them for the evening of their arrival, nor for the morning of their departure for the chrysalis expression space. If you'd like to do a practice the night of your arrival, that's great. Our team will make sure that it's set up and ready for you. So you'll see here that we have a 2 full day space rental for chrysalis, which you saw some imagery of. I'm getting more and more positive reinforcement that we showed images of these things before going through this example, because that would have been bad. Or at least people with big imaginations would have done really well here. So you can see the way that renting the expression space impacts your cost. Remember, I had that conversation with this person. She said she feels she's going to have a strong audience coming from Texas. Okay, cool. Bask also provides transport services and shuttle services from Bask to the airport and back. So here we have that listed at $450. You decide that you don't want transport, no issue. We take it off your cost. And we'll kind of see, I think it'll be interesting to look at the way that these various items impact your cost in the end. So let's go down. I know everybody's interested in this. So this is a 13-person retreat for 3 nights at Bask. You'd have a mix of a cabin, all 6 of the rentable rooms within Buffalo Lodge, and the geodomes. And the total here is $12,299. On a per person basis, that puts you right at $1,000 a person, all included for this event. If you had in your mind that you were going to price this at $500 a person, we're not sure that Bask is going to be the right place for you. But if you had in mind, I'm going to charge people $5,000 because my experience is going to be so blowout, I can't believe that I'd only be paying you $1,000 a person. Fantastic. We should have a conversation. Fill out the retreat request form or email someone from our team. We'd love to talk to you about how to make this little mock example that I've shared about this lady in Texas. If there is someone from Texas, we can talk about how, we'll give you a little dollar back for your name, image, and likeness in this example. But we get this question all the time, and I just wanted folks to see, how does a real quoting process look? If you call us tomorrow and ask us to walk you through your specific example, you will see this spreadsheet. You will know and understand it. And you have a early jump on our spring, summer, and fall pricing for 2026, which is great. All right. So I'm now going to stop talking for a minute, and I'm going to let Carly and Amanda from Native Pilates do a little bit of talking. Well, I'm going to ask some questions, but they're going to do some question answering, which is going to be fun. So let me stop sharing, and they will turn on their video. Here she comes. Bingo. Yeah, we good?
Yeah.
I'm so glad we decided to go with the mic hold. This is a note, like that is working for me in a major way. So good. Thank you for that. Amanda and Carly, one thing I didn't say that we do, but obviously you and I know each other. I'd love to just hear who is Amanda, who is Carly, so folks know who the heck you are, and then I'll get to the questions that we have.
I'm Amanda Howard. And I'm Carly Cole. Amanda owns Native Pilates, and then I'm an instructor at Native.
Awesome. Well, my first question is kind of related to how you guys, maybe less on how you got to know each other 10 years ago, but talk to me a little bit about your partnership, the types of, we get, you can imagine a broad variety of people asking us about hosting retreats at Bask. But one of the ones that we see most often are 2 folks sitting across from us on Google Meets or Zoom, and they've worked together for X number of years. I love that profile, and we've seen it work really successfully. And I just thought it'd be worthwhile to hear a little bit about how have you two sort of grown to work together, and how did you have the belief and confidence that you could pull a retreat like this off?
Mhm.
Oh man. Well, I mean, Carly is just such a good friend of mine, has become a really good friend of mine. It started as a client at the studio, and then she went through our teacher training program. But I don't remember, did you come to me?
I was working at the front desk and I think we were just talking about it. We're like, we should do a retreat. And then our clients were saying that we should do a retreat. So then I set us up a meeting and I was like, we should do a retreat. And
Yeah, you spearheaded that because I had been talking about it for years, and because as a business owner, there's so much other things, there's so many other things to do.
Yes.
And I think it really took like sitting down, having the conversation, doing some research, and then we were kind of just looking at like what called to us.
Yeah.
And Bask called to us.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just kind of like we needed to have that conversation and strategize, and I feel like we work really well together.
Yeah. I think because I worked at the front desk, like Amanda and I we just kind of know our strengths in each other too. So I might be more of the like planner executor behind the scenes. And Amanda, I mean, she's the face, like she created Native Pilates and she has brought in all of these clients to Native, and they are there because of her and the community she's created. So it's like, okay, if we put these two strengths together, I can plan stuff all day. And Amanda just she really brings like the belief into what we're doing. I think, she's had clients for so many years and they just like believe in what she does. So it's like, if you put those two kind of people together, like you can create something.
So why, I mean, perfect segue with Amanda, you've been doing Pilates for over a decade, correct? Right? So you've been doing Pilates for over a decade. You have a really healthy, vibrant studio community. Why do a retreat in the first place, right? You're running a successful business, things are going well. Okay, I'm gonna bite this apple's not enough. I need a watermelon to chew on. Tell me like what sort of pushed you guys to make that decision?
I think it was community. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot. But we have a really strong community at the studio. And like Carly said, people were asking about it. I think people were wanting to take what we do so well at the studio, which is movement, which is Pilates, and then go somewhere different and maybe immerse ourselves in a deeper way to learn more about movement, learn more about ourselves, and how this work, how we can be more embodied in this work in a space that's like outside of our daily, rushing around life. Sometimes it's easier to just leave your home and your family and your responsibilities and go somewhere else, and you can really focus on yourself in a different way. So for me, that was I think what we needed to do, and everybody was asking us for it too.
Yeah. And I think kind of to play more on getting out of your comfort zone. You come to Pilates, you're there for an hour and then that's it. You go on with the rest of your day. And I remember like it being important to Amanda, creating that space out of your home to be somewhere, to be immersed in nature and not having the responsibility of like, what am I cooking for dinner tonight? Let me get my kids ready for bed. So it's like you had these days to do something for yourself, which a lot of ladies on our retreat, we had all women on our retreat, and most of them are mothers, and a lot of them are in this stage of life right now where they don't get to take care of themselves. So this is really a weekend where you don't have to think about anything. You're just going from one place to the other. You're moving, you're eating really great food. And what more could you want?
Do we want to talk
Amanda's
about
hungry now.
I mean, I don't know if you want to go there yet, but the food, I'm just going to say I highly recommend hiring, like using the chef that you guys have there. She was amazing. And that was the biggest thing, is that all of the women that were there were like, oh, the fact that we don't have to worry about making something or taking care of anybody, like it was so nourishing, and it was just such a huge part of what we needed to have at the retreat. And it was so delicious.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I'll note, and not to say hard and fast, because of course it's like a little bit chicken or the egg. The fact that you had people asking you for a retreat is a really good sign. Now, does that mean that you're going to oversell your retreat, which you two did? No, not necessarily. But if people are asking you, how can I be around what the sort of the medicine that you're providing for days and get away? I think that, for the attendees in the room, that's a really good sign that like maybe a little bit of self-belief, potentially a partner that has like a little bit more of that planning spirit, or maybe a little bit more of that visionary, we can do it spirit. If you're the planner in the group, listen to that, listen to that voice, or listen to your customers or your audience or your community giving you that feedback. I think, case in point with Native and many other retreats we've seen, early people speaking out loud what they want is a good sign. I will circle back to the food, but I'll make it a little bit higher arching, not just about the food. So you guys say we're really strong in our partnership. I'm a little bit of A, she's a little bit of B. Together we make sense. We want to do a retreat. You're now in the venue consideration stage. And I mentioned this earlier when we were making sure the microphones worked. I'd love to hear, and I think folks on the line would benefit from hearing, what were some venue considerations that were you like, this place has to have this? And what are some things that if you looked again, you'd say it still has to have this, or it didn't actually need to have this when I thought it did? So a bit of a two-parter, but I'm sure you guys can nail it.
Well, I kind of just was looking at Airbnbs to start, because there really isn't much around here. If you want to do like for us, I think for our first retreat, we wanted it to be relatively close. And there was so much we didn't know when we were first looking. We were like, okay, like first it was just about space, sleeping arrangements, what can we do, cost. And then I just saw someone on Instagram post like tag Bask, and I was like, what is this? And I first talked to Nigel, and he was telling me all about it. I was like, this sounds great. And then Zach and you and I connected, and y'all just do so much. You handle so much, and it was pretty much a no-brainer. Yeah. We were like, okay, this works. And I know I talked to you, Zach. I was like, yeah, we were looking at Airbnbs, but it seems like a lot of work on mine and Amanda's part when we're physically there, when we've already poured so much time and effort into planning. And then when you're there, when you're a retreat leader, you're still making sure your guests are having a good time, but we also got to enjoy the retreat too. Like we felt as much a part of like being a retreat member while also being leaders, because Bask does it all. Y'all do everything. I don't know that there's something that y'all did that we were like, no, we didn't need that. No, we needed everything.
That's yeah. There was really good communication, and we felt really set up from the get-go. And I think that was a big thing for me. It was feeling, when we were looking for somewhere to go, it was feeling like that we would be taken care of. Like, is there food? Is there a movement space? For me, that was a big deal, because like, okay, we rent a house, then we have to move stuff. Are we gonna, then we have
That's a different type of movement space.
Yeah.
Work out. All right, everybody, bed movement time.
Yeah, let's all move the couch.
No, for real.
But also I was looking for a space that honestly, like, I love spaces that are like inviting. And we felt that right away with Bask. I didn't feel like it, and this is like something I was saying earlier. I didn't want something too hippy dippy, and I didn't want something too hoity toity. And I felt like this was right in the middle, like if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want the towels to have like holes in them,
right?
Or
this was I don't know, an elevated stay.
Yeah, because I've stayed at retreats before where the accommodations, we were just kind of, it was lacking, but the movement space was great, or the community was great, but then you just didn't have your like your accommodations were like meh. And we wanted to include for me, that was important. I know for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we had to think about our clients. Like, our clients they want things that are nice, and Bask is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The accommodations are gorgeous. The stay is gorgeous. The atmosphere, and then just everyone that works at Bask is so nice. And that was amazing. Like, we were just blown away. I think that was the biggest thing. I mean, every single person we talked to and worked with,
and just like real chill and cool.
Yes, just so Genuinely nice. Greg is a sweet, sweet, sweet man who was like at Bask the whole weekend with us. And I mean, I think we could just write a review about Greg because he is like someone I've never met before. He's so kind, and he made like truly he really made a lot of the stay so incredible. He really did.
Yeah, well, also we were just kind of hanging around some of the time, and I was just like by myself. I was trying to find like some centerpieces for a women's circle that we had in the chrysalis space the first night. And I was just by myself, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm just like looking for things." And he was like, "You want me to help you?" And I was like, "Okay." But I was not expecting like a tour. He was like, "This represents,
Yeah.
resilience and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so helpful."
Yeah.
Because that helped me create and he just was just so helpful and kind. So
yeah,
it's little things like that that I think we were it was beyond what we were kind of like, hoping for too.
That's something we would never have gotten it at an Airbnb because it's just be us, like kind of just leading.
If there is someone like Greg in the woods of your Airbnb, I don't know. I mean, that would be a roll of the dice. I don't think they're marketing that.
Help us, please.
Yeah.
So I'll end cap this with what's next. You've partnered up. You have a strong concept. You know that retreat was the answer then. You know what venue considerations were important then and important now. Where can people find you? How can they locate you? What's on the horizon for you two?
You can find us at nativepilates.com.
Located in Donaldson.
In Nashville. But we are going to go to Bask again in October.
Yes.
Of this year.
We're excited.
Yeah, we're super excited. And it was such a hit, and it's not that far. We've got a lot of moms, like we said, so it was just nice to have somewhere close as well. So that's on the books, and
yeah, we're just planning retreat number 2. Gonna talk to Zach later this week. Can't wait.
I'll note that we've been talking to them for over a month about this. Carly texted me last Thursday to tell me this news. She really wanted to keep it secret and keep it safe that they were doing this. So that was totally a newsbreaker.
And when we planned the first one, we started in July, and we realized because we were like, and then we booked for October. So, I mean, it was a quick turnaround. So we're trying to plan ahead. And I think that's important, is to think further ahead. But we've got more people than we were hoping for. So anyway.
That's incredible. Well, I want to say a personal, super big thank you to both of you, not just for your time today, but for your energy, your enthusiasm, and honestly, for your belief in Bask before we had all the great photos and fantastic videos of a finished space. I think it truly speaks to your sort of self-belief and self-confidence, and of course, your belief in the integrity of our promise to deliver something special. And I'm really glad we can show you some nicer photos now, because it makes it easier for everyone to believe in the vision, I have to say.
Feel the energy, like from you guys, from Eileen, from the space, like right when you get there. So it was just an easy decision.
Yeah, it was. And then just a note to you, Zach, you helped us the whole entire way. And I don't know how we could have planned it without you.
Well, you certainly could have, but I very much appreciate the gesture. Well, I appreciate y'all so much. I'm now popping up a couple of images of the biggest smiling faces and people enjoying the Native Pilates retreat with a little bit of delicious food included. We so appreciate you two joining us and offering this perspective. And again, if folks do have any questions about you specifically, I hope I'd be able to pass them to you all to ask a question about 2 first-time retreat leaders that made the leap.
Be happy to answer anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. We are now going to pass it over to Eileen once again, who's going to talk about some of our land restoration initiatives. So let me turbo zoom into land restoration initiatives. And Eileen, you'll take the mic.
Hello again. Land restorations, very exciting topic. We have partnered with Southeastern Grassland Institute and with Roundstone Native Seed Companies. They are 2 organizations that are extremely passionate about restoring land back to what it used to be so long ago. And they have the expertise because they're led by botanists and ecologists. And it took about 1.5 years to get them to commit to partner with us. But I'm very proud to say that we're in Hickman County, and we're the first ones that they partnered with in the county. And we're already noticing neighbors that want to have their land restored as well. So this is a seed that we're planting at Bass that is going to have effects throughout the state of Tennessee and throughout this Hickman County, because they're starting to see what land restoration can do. And they're also coming and they're getting to feel it. You can feel the energy at Bask. So we use iNaturalist to identify the different plants that are there. And we've identified several endangered plants. And the wetland bog area, according to SGI, is a very rare type of land, along with the lower meadow wetland area. And so they are coming and collecting seeds and propagating these rare native plants, which is really cool. And as we are eventually going to build an underground greenhouse, we will be also propagating these rare native plants as well. And we have scientists from Mississippi State. We have entomologists, bug experts that have come in their team of 6 people, and they are coming to do research at Bask. Austin P is where SGI is at. And so they are bringing botanists and scientists to Bask. And so we're in communication with several wildlife organizations, and they are going to be bringing teams to Bask to do research, to be able to help wildlife, to help pollinators, to help the plants. So it's very exciting because it's an opportunity for us, all of us, to learn more about this county and the natives that are there. We have 24 acres, 4 miles down from Bask, and we are going to create a monarch butterfly destination there. I'm very excited for that. It always starts with removing invasive plants, and we'll have educational programs so people can learn about these invasives, but they must be gotten rid of first before the native plants can really take root. So we are going through that process now. We're about to have a controlled burn on the land on 1/3 of the property. And so we'll be coming up with educational programs for people. And Bask is a nonprofit 501c3. So anytime you're booking Bask for anything, any money that comes in is going to these the restoration efforts. And also they'll be going into some educational efforts. And right now I'm currently working on some programming to be able to help people with PTSD, to help veterans as well. And so we're working on some programming for that with some therapists and some experts. And so all of this programming will be supported when you're coming and booking your retreats at Bask. And at the same time, you'll get to enjoy the beautiful thousands of plants. We're seeing many more butterflies, moss species. We're seeing salamanders, and many of them are endangered. So it's really critical. SGI found 2 endangered fish on the property, which is super exciting. So we're bringing a lot of wildlife back in, and it's going to spread. So these are some of the restoration. We're also doing creek restoration as well. It's amazing because it's crystal clear water, and we will have a swimming hole for you with the creek restoration. And also there are crystal quartz boulders in the creek, and it's really amazing. Crystal quartz is right there, and it's like, what is this? Land is magical. So we are always intentionally considering what each acre needs and what we can do to support it, to help bring it back, and also who can benefit, what scientists need to come and do some work on each acre. And so we're doing all of it, y'all. It's super exciting. And you can feel the energy and the excitement of the land at Bask while you're there. And she's excited. And I will, yes, and I'm going to give it to Zach for some questions. So thank you.
All right, we are back. I do see already folks have had some questions, which is fantastic. So let me, I'm actually going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to see if I can go to the Q&A. We've got some tests. How do I do anything? Oh, thank you, Cloud. That was a test question, I think. Someone said, hi, Preacher Zach. Will we receive a video of this webinar? Our first actual question. Yeah, heck yeah. We'll send you a video. We'll be sending you a recap video. The only thing that won't be included is going to be the promotional offer that they have at the very end, which will be only in about 7 more minutes or 5 more minutes. So hang on to the end. Yes, I can see your screen. Okay, totally amazing. When did they have their retreat? Dana, thank you for asking that. So Carly and Amanda, please correct me, but I believe it was October 2025 was when Native had their retreat. I'm curious, what do you imagine as your ideal retreat leader and participant at this price point? It helps me understand whether the model aligns with what we're building. Asked anonymously, very sneaky, but no problem. Let me read the question one more time to make sure I've understood. So I'll answer this live, actually. So what do you imagine as your ideal retreat leader and participant at this price point? I can truly say we don't have, in our mind's eye, we don't necessarily lean toward a Pilates instructor is going to be the ideal leader at this price point. I can say confidently that I personally have been so floored by the variety of concepts, retreat leaders, and sort of motives that people have to do this, literally from nutrition driven. They had, a massive dietary issue 15 years ago that had them bedridden, and now they've seen the beauty and power of Ayurveda, and they want to host a retreat for that. All the way to, someone that believes in the mystic power of the stars. I'm thinking of someone in particular for that. That literally knows more about star constellations than I may know about my own family. So we have such a broad variety. And in terms of retreat participant, maybe I have a little bit better sense of that. I think someone that's looking for a number of the values that Carly and Amanda laid out, people that are looking for community, people that are looking for a true respite from the haste and hecticness of, I'm going to say the world, but Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, wherever the heck it is that you live, Bask is absolutely living and breathing its values of unplug, restore, and reconnect. And I think that is the ideal retreat guest, because no matter the retreat concept, whether it's Pilates or stargazing, you will unplug, you will be restored, and you will reconnect with yourself, with a community of people interested in what you're doing, and hopefully with the community of folks. Stephen asked a question. I'll answer that. What's a typical retreat schedule? So I would say very typically Thursday to Sunday is the one we see most often. I'll say that's the one we see most often. Friday to Monday is, probably a close second to that. Thursday to Monday is one we've seen. If you're going to stretch into that 4+ night, I'd say that's one that we see more frequently. We do offer discounts for 4+ nights, so hit us up on that front. But I'd say, Stephen, the most common retreat schedule we see is Thursday to Sunday. Cool. Let me see. Amy asked, is there someone from Bask on site during retreats? Most commonly, yes. And in the cases where, we're offering on-site support of venue setup or space readiness, 24/7 property management to make sure that all of the accommodations, everything's working and up to spec. Absolutely. There are certain scenarios where, we have talked to and worked with retreat leaders that say, I want this thing fully to myself. We do have an orientation for those people. We do not allow people to just have the venue. Our property management is still on call because obviously if something goes wrong, you can't, oh, sorry, you didn't know how to fix that problem. I would say that's 1% of retreat leaders that we've talked to, but it is something that if it's a requirement of your retreat for a specific reason, we'd love to hear what that reason was, and then sort of divulge from there. Okay. Answer live. I'm doing it. Anonymous attendee. Okay. Probably not the same one. Can the movement space be rented out just for the day or a few hours? Not for a few hours. I would say that's probably a big no. Yes, the movement space can be rented just for the day. I would say it is, very frankly, it's the least of our business priorities because it's the thing that, inevitably, as Amanda and Carly, I think, really clearly articulated, the movement space is one of the key considerations right after accommodations that retreat leaders are looking for to have. So if we've rented the movement space to someone that's not a retreat leader, there's obviously a little bit of a conflict of interest. I'd say during the week, very much so a thing that we can do because it doesn't compete as frequently, to Stephen's question, with retreats that will be going on. So yes, during the week for the day is probably your best bet. Okay. Let me see here. Jared asked, are property tours available? Do we have open houses? All of the above. Property tours are available. Feel free to reach out to anyone from our team, info@baskretreatcenter.com. You can message us on Instagram or YouTube. We'd be happy to schedule a tour with you. We did, when tours were really popping off in the fall and winter of last year, we established a sort of a certain interval. I do believe we're going to bring that back, but obviously in the dead of winter, it's a little bit more by appointment only because people aren't sticking to the office hours as much. But if you want a tour, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to get one set up for you. Okay, I'm going to answer 2 more questions. And then we'll get to the end. Let me see. Oh, sorry. So I'm a massage instructor. Do you have massage tables at the expression space? We do have, I believe, one, just to confirm with Chelsea, we have one massage table that's actually set up inside of the Buffalo Lodge. So there's a therapy room in Buffalo Lodge. That's not one of the bedrooms. That's not obviously a bathroom. It is a dedicated therapy space, and there is a massage table in there. I would say I'm reading in, Essie, a little bit to your question. If massage therapy, acupuncture is one I've recently had an interaction with. If that's something that you wanted to offer as a package for retreat attendees or someone wanted to add, we could absolutely set up multiple massage tables for multiple massage therapists, either in the retreat center or in the chrysalis space. That'd be no problem. Well, I super appreciate everyone joining us today. Really, from the bottom of our hearts, it means the world to serve such a committed and sort of ethos-driven community. We look forward to hearing from you. If you have questions about what you've seen here, please feel free to email info@baskretreatcenter.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. So from all of the Bask team to you, thank you so much for your time and look forward to learning more about your concept in the future soon. Thank you.